Hey guys, and welcome to Petrol Ped. Welcome to Seoul in South Korea. That is the Olympic rowing lake that Sir Steve Redgrave won gold on in 1988. Now, I'm over here in Korea for the first drive of a new Kia, which will be coming to the channel very soon. But every time I come to Korea, you see cars that we just don't get in the UK. And last time I was here, I had a chat with the guys from Kia, and I said it would be really cool to kind of do a film on them because we don't see them, and I think we really should. So I've got two cars while I'm out here, in addition to the press event, for me to drive and share with you guys. And the first one is parked in a car park just over there. So yeah, we see these a lot in Korea. We never got it in the UK. This is the Kia K9. Now I've got to say, our lovely fixer has sorted us out a cracking location for filming today. We are squeezing these in. The event I'm here for actually starts tomorrow. I only flew in this morning, so I am massively jet lagged, so forgive me for that. But let's talk K9, shall we? As I said, when you come to Korea, you will see lots of cars that we just don't get in the UK, or in some cases in Europe as well. They'll be from manufacturers you know and recognise, but we just don't get that particular model. And I always find that quite interesting, why manufacturers choose to take certain cars to certain territories and don't take cars to others. This never made it to the UK market, and it's a shame. We see loads and loads of them over in Korea. So let me tell you 10 cool things about the Kia K9. Number one, this is Kia's flagship model, top of the tree, and it was really designed to be in competition with or go up against the S-Class from Mercedes-Benz, things like the Audi A7, the BMW 7 Series. So it's really a kind of executive high-end saloon. Unlike most Kias, it's rear-wheel drive, although there are some four-wheel drive variants. Now, although it's got a Kia badge on the side, a bit like the Kia Stinger, the chassis was developed by ex-BMW people, so it should handle quite well. It has a proper luxury interior, Napa leather, wood trim, soft materials, a quality you probably wouldn't expect from Kia, and a really lovely analog clock. And although I've said that this car should be great to drive, actually, it's probably just as good to be a passenger. Loads and loads of passenger legroom and lots of gadgets too. But this is the cool bit, because the K8s come with proper engines. Three different engine options actually. You've got a 3.3 litre twin turbo V6. You've got this, which is a 3.8 naturally aspirated V6, or you've got a 5 litre V8 naturally aspirated. I mean, who doesn't want one of them in their life? Mind you, that could be the downfall of this car, unfortunately, but pretty cool though. And these things are absolutely packed full of technology. 360-degree cameras, head-up display, parking assist, every ADAS system you could possibly want. And very good air conditioning, because it's currently about 34 degrees Celsius and very, very humid. And they're very quiet as well, very accomplished on the highway, because they've got acoustic glass, all kinds of sound deadening. But one of the things I mentioned, I think last time I was here in Korea, is the window tints out here are ridiculous. You'd get pulled by the police straight away if you tried having a window tint like that back in the UK. But over here, every single car has dark glass, so dark you can't see in. But yeah, very, very quiet car, that. And perhaps one of the most attractive things, which will probably come as no surprise, is value for money, because these new were like 60 to 70,000 quid, and you can pick one up used for an awful lot less than that. Let someone else have the depreciation hit and drive round in a proper luxury limo. And the last of my 10 fascinating facts about the K9, well, as I've said already, They are super rare in the UK, because if you see one of those, someone's imported that themselves from Korea, because they were never sold in the UK. But if you want to stand out from the crowd from your 7 Series or your S-Class or your A7, maybe you should try and get your hands on one of them. Should we take a walk around the external styling, have a quick look on the inside in more detail, and then we'll take it for a spin. So let's take a walk around the K9. We'll start at the front, and I think the dominating feature at the front is this gigantic grille. You can see a little bit of the sort of Kia digital tiger face going on there, but that grille is absolutely massive. And I think that's a nod to this particular market. They do like their big grills over here, but you can see lots of family resemblance for sure. And then come down the side, it's just a really sleek, I can see little bits of S-Class in there, certainly that back 3/4, but it's a big, long car, nice and sleek, and you come around the back. Now, I mentioned before that these were rear-wheel drive and some variants are 4-wheel drive. We happen to have a 4-wheel drive one with us today, and I think the rear view is really nice and clean. There's loads of space in the boot as well, I'm sure. We've got some stuff in the back, some kit in there. I mean, you can go right back in there, look, all the way back in here. My goodness me. You're not going to be short for space. So again, you could double this up as an executive saloon or as the ultimate family wagon. You've got 2 kids in the back, loads of luggage space. Let's jump inside and I'll show you the interior. Now, I've got to say, the interior of this doesn't look like any other Kia I've sat in, although it does. And what I mean by that is all the switch gear is Kia. All of these buttons, there's lots of buttons in this car. I love it for that. All the buttons on there are all the shortcuts to the main infotainment screen. You've got your climate control, you've got heated seats and heated steering wheel. Believe me, don't need that in these conditions, but I've also got vented seats up front, which is very nice. And then, as I've said, this mix of Napa leather, wood, I don't know whether that's a wood or a wood effect, but I really like it. We don't see so much wood in cars these days. And then you've got a kind of, the headline is really nice. I wouldn't say this colour scheme is for me, if I'm honest, but the contrast between the black and the kind of, it's almost like a caramel colour, it's just quite opulent, really. All of the switchgear is very, very familiar. The instrument binnacle, I've driven this car for about half hour, 40 minutes already. And it's a really familiar place to be, but I think we need to take it for a drive because, as I said, this car's got some go in it. I love the fact that there is a V8 one of these. Unfortunately, we couldn't get our hands on one of those for this filming. We'll have to make do with a naturally aspirated V6 instead. Damn. Anyway, let's head out into the roads of Seoul and see what this car's like to drive. Oh, wow. Yeah, the storm's coming in. It's got so much darker. Luckily, we finished all of our outside filming and we're going to head back to the hotel. So I thought I'd kind of turn the cameras on and take you with me on I love driving in Korea. It's an interesting place to drive. That's all I'm going to say. Have I got to pay any money here, do you think? Or am I just going to go out? Look at that. I've no idea what she was saying there. Absolutely no idea. So, what have we got? About 16 kilometers. It's like 40 minutes or something. So, this car to drive, I drove it all the way over here. It's got this naturally aspirated V6, which sounds great and has a really nice, smooth pull to it. I'm going to put the drive mode, which is a little drive mode selected here, I'm going to put it up into sport mode, OBS. Oh, instantly you get a little bit more pull. But it is a pretty ubiquitous car here in Korea. You see a lot of them. And on the way back, I'm sure we'll probably see cars that we just don't really get in the UK. I love spotting them. I mean, a lot of the cars you'll kind of notice and you'll think, yeah, okay, I get that. I know what that is. But I'm also trying to navigate my way. It's raining. I'm driving in Seoul. It's really busy. Like, what is that? Oh my, that is hideous. Absolutely gopping. But yeah, the interior is just so nice in this car. I know the colour combos in this particular spec car probably aren't to everyone's taste, but you can't beat a bit of faux wood. I love it's starting to make a bit of a comeback. There's no shiny black plastics in this car at all. Instead, we've got Napa leather, wood, and kind of like an Alcantara thing. Hyundai Grandeur. See, we don't get them either. And there's so many of these kind of luxury, larger saloons. They do love their saloons here in Korea. And I think we've kind of taken this step in a lot of European markets into the world of big luxury SUVs. And I'm not sure it's necessarily the way to go, really. Hyundai Venue. No idea. Absolutely no idea. Now, we've been out, what's the temperature? It's still 31 degrees, and we've been out filming with this car and another car that will appear on the channel next week. And this weather has been threatening all afternoon, and it should have arrived maybe an hour and a half, 2 hours ago. So we've done pretty well to avoid it, to be honest. And thankfully, all of the filming pretty much is done now. I've just got to drive back to the hotel. It would have been lovely to get this car out onto some really nice twisty roads, but we're right in the middle of Seoul, and it just wasn't possible. The logistics didn't work today for us to do that. I am here though to drive the new Kia EV3 GT, and I'm going to be doing that tomorrow. And apparently we've got some nice roads for that one, so hopefully that should be all good. I think I'm going to bear round to the left here. Doing a bit to camera and driving in Korea. It's interesting, because I don't understand any of the road signs. What does all that mean? But yeah, this car, it's just a lovely place to be. Well, that's nice. I think its challenge is, I know I said it was Kia's top of the range model. Their kind of answer to things like S-Class Mercedes and 7 Series and Audi A7s and that kind of thing. But even within the Hyundai Kia group, Genesis have things like the G80, and they have that kind of luxury feel as well. And there's, I think it's a very market specific thing. Here in South Korea, you see a lot of big executive saloons. It's almost like it's a real kind of status thing, much more than it is for us back in the UK. It's very status driven, the type of car and the size of car that you have, and that's why this car does so well over here. But I mean, it does feel pretty big when you're out on the road now, to be fair. I've got to say, this car is so quiet and so smooth. It just rides lovely. And that's no surprise really, because that's exactly what it's meant to do. It's meant to whisk you around in luxurious comfort. But with the acoustic glass and the suspension setup's really nice, because it just feels plush. It's not wallowy and horrible. It feels nice and firm, but just really nice plush suspension. Just brilliant. Now, while we're pootling back to the hotel, I want to give a massive shout out to DK Kim, who's our fixer today. He's organised the cars. He's got a YouTube channel called Car Scene Korea, so hit him up, give him a subscribe. But he's been so helpful, helping with the filming, arranging the car we're filming, the video that's going out next week. His mate lent us that car for the day. This isn't a Kia press car. We've basically hired this car for the day. So yeah, massive thanks. Cheers, DK. You have been mega today. So thoughtful. We brought umbrellas and water and food and all kinds of things. So he's done us proud. Oh look, you still get Teslas in Korea. Shame. Oh, Korean traffic. You think London traffic's bad? It's nothing compared with Korean traffic. This is horrible. Another Hyundai Grandeur there. The other thing is, I'd love to give one of these a go with the NA V8, over 400 horsepower. That'd be wicked. Absolutely gangster car. That's what you want. A Kia Carnival. It's the car, one of the cars like that ferried us from the airport, and they are, I mean, they look like a bit of an ugly duckling from the outside because they've got that kind of, looks like a roof box, but it's not. It just gives extra height inside. And it's like proper quality limo feel in there. You've got really lovely kind of captain's chairs. You've got a big TV. It's really nice. Again, don't see those in the UK. I don't know how well they'd go, but it'd be a brilliant family wagon. I mean, they're great for kind of VIP mini shuttles. You can only fit like 4 people in really because the seats are so lovely. But yeah, you could easily have that as a family car because it's a boot cavernous. And they're just really cool inside. Kia Carnival. So I think what we need to do now is, I've had a drive, it's so smooth and quiet in here, but I think this car is as much about sitting in that seat there than in this seat here. So what's it like to be a passenger in one of these? I say, Will, could you take me to the hotel, please, sir? Because if you have one of these, fun as they are to drive, really for me it's as much about being a passenger in the back. And there are so many, well, there's loads of legroom in the back for a start, but so much control. You've got clearly your own climate control zone, controllable by there. But this central console, I've got loads of control. I can even move the seat in front of me forwards and backwards. I can take control of the infotainment system from here. I've got my own controller. And I've also got my own climate controls and stuff, and there's loads of place to put things and charge cables. It's a mega place. Now, I flew in from London this morning and we came straight out to film, so I'm feeling particularly shabby after having only had about 3 hours sleep on the plane. So I could actually get my head down, because if I push this button here, the sunshade at the back goes up, and then if I lift this up, that clicks on there, and I've now darkened out and I can have a nice relaxing chill. Absolutely mega. And you know, you've got proper luxury levels of limo-ness back here. Now, it's mentioned already, it's a shame that the K9 never came to the UK, but it's also a shame that literally this week Kia have announced that they are discontinuing this car. Bad timing for my video, but I guess it was almost inevitable. I mentioned that there's a range of petrol engines for this car, but there's no hybrid or battery option for this car. And I guess it's also going up against Genesis. Have got some cars that are in this kind of same bracket, and it's a very, very competitive area. But sadly, the K9 has been discontinued. It is no more. So much as I would love it to come to the UK, they're not making it anymore, so it's definitely not going to come to the UK. But it's such an iconic car for me. Every time I come to Korea, I see them driving around and they just look cool, and they are so nice to spend time in. But there we go. I hope you enjoyed that. I just wanted to share a few of the Korean cars. Now, then, in a few days' time, I think probably next week, I'm going to put out a video of another Kia car that you find in Korea that you won't find in the UK. But for now, I'm going to head back to the hotel in sumptuous luxury and comfort. If you enjoyed that, please give me a thumbs up. Comments below are always welcome. And if you haven't done so already, please subscribe to Petrol Ped for plenty more content to come. And I'll see you on the next film. You take care, guys. Drive safe.